Yeah, we're all synced up now. We just tell the same jokes in our heads.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
Luca,
just
that was
stop
so
a couple
funny.
words early.
Hive mind D&D. Man, Hive mind D&D would be interesting.
We could all
Everyone would
like,
just sit quietly at the table and someone would be like, ah,
it'd be like a what do they call this? A silent rave.
oh,
It sounds like an episode of Black Mirror.
mhm.
A silent rave.
No, Hive Mind D&D.
Oh.
We're just
What
sitting
came
around
on
the
those
table,
notes?
then explode. Like, oh,
I guess I just assumed you meant like I don't know. We were like role playing as the Borg or something.
Oh no, I literally took it as we were all connected mentally and therefore
Mhm.
didn't have to speak. So
Mhm.
D&D was just creepy and silent. Anyway.
People walk in and there's just a bunch of white dudes in their 30s silently sitting around a table.
Occasionally one rolls a die.
Yep.
Except we're all
No.
looking at someone one at a time when we're speaking mentally, so we're just like turning our heads every once in a while. Oh,
Or-
it's awful.
And hear me out. D&D is actually the mimic infection designed to train us to be a communal mind.
Ah,
Mm.
I can get behind that program.
Okay.
You know, there's worse things to be infected by.
Yep. It's all neurolinguistic programming.
Anyway,
Oh, that one to my grandmother.
I gotta
So what
go.
happened last time?
yeah. What?
All right, I'm out. Have a good night, guys.
Good
Heck
session, everyone.
heavens. Oh my gosh. What happened last time? In session 38. Fault
We
line.
met Ashran.
Yeah.
I don't know anything that happened before that because my notes don't have anything before that.
I was gonna say, like, wait, that's like
There was-
way down in my notes.
Yeah.
There's
Some things that happened before that.
nothing else needs to be noted besides that interchange.
Yep.
No. Exchange, not interchange.
We were the quest givers for once.
Mhm.
I have a few more notes than that, but Alex does such a good job.
Okay, fine.
If you don't want to, I can give it a shot.
No, it's fine.
I mean, you take like verbatim notes, so
It's
they're-
true. I copy everything.
You said exactly this at 5:38 p.m.
I have what people roll. I have what people say. Okay, so we walk in a straight line toward where the compass points because we're still trying to get to the ship.
Mhm.
Tizzle flies to scout around as we walk, and then Wanda joins because he can be a bird now. That's super cool.
Woo.
Tizzle can see to the south, heading towards us, a large shape. We try to walk by the coast quietly. Tizzle and Felix get natural ones on their stealth rolls. Nothing happens, fortunately. We set up camp closer to the coast. Council makes a super simple alarm trap with rocks and sticks, just in case we get ambushed from the water out because he's worried about Nan. Council wants to read a word in the journal. Everyone says it's okay. And the last entry was, all is a lie. She betrayed us. They all betrayed us. And then there's the special alphabet stuff. And the first word is on the 7th day of the 11th month of the 130th year in L, and it says, my. Council volunteers for first watch. It's been raining. It continues raining. He doesn't hear anything aside from rain in the ocean. On Ishmael's second watch, it's pitch
Haha.
black with no light. He doesn't hear anything at first and he's sitting there quietly muttering prayers to Horan. And then suddenly there's a small creature standing next to him, and it's breathing very loudly. It's a little Nan of the Shallows. And Ishmael says, hello. And then he asks it if it's alone. It says no, there's 3 other ones. And then it asks us if we want to trade shiny things. It has some sand dollars and conch shells and bits of seaweed. And it has like a little bag made out of seaweed. And that's kind of adorable in a nerdy kind of way. Ishmael offers it a python. And then in return, Ishmael gets a shiny silver button, which is kind of cool. It looks like it's a decorative button from a coat. And then we wake up during the conversation, and it tells us that its name is Ashran. He calls his buddies over. Tizzle asks if they have a necklace. One does. It's a rose gold pendant, not the one that Tizzle's wondering. He wonders if it's Horan's necklace that's in the ocean from the shipwreck when we first arrived. We offer lots of shiny things. Council describes it in great deal. Blah blah blah. Oh yeah. So we try to get them to find the necklace for us, and in return we offer them lots of shiny things. Council describes it in perfect detail. Council offers a fork in exchange for information, and they love the fork. Ishmael asks about the kraken that attacked the city. They said it lives there, and I don't think it likes the people around. Felix asks why, and Ashran says they don't know. The bad nuns say it has to stay there because it's home. We ask if the Nan take orders from something, and Ashran thinks they take orders from the Kraken. So that was a cool little tidbit of information. Someone asked if they considered colorful gems as shiny. They said yes, weapons are shiny as well. Do any of their kind carry a mallet? I don't know why someone asked that. The answer was no. Council says we are visiting the priestess, and do they have any advice? Ashron is very confused, and we tell them about Callie, the priestess's sister, and we say we want to go to the cathedral and talk to the priestess. This seems to confuse the heck out of them, but yeah, they didn't really have any helpful information.
Mm-mm.
Felix thinks of where the necklace is using the compass to show Ashran, and so it points northeast of where we are. Ashran asks how he can find us, and we just say we'll find him, and then Ishmael introduces himself and gives them his name. On Wander's watch, he can hear the footprints in the sand 2 hours into his watch as the morning comes, as the none of the shallows pass back by. We wake up with no issues. Ishmael inspects his new button. It seems to be the button from one of the guards from the pillars, probably from a shipwreck or something. Tizol flies south. Tizol sees a large shape to the south. It's a behemoth hunting. We walk all day and avoid it. The group suggests reading one word in the morning and one in the evening, which is a great idea. Council reads another word. Excuse me. Current reading is my covenant is. Tizol notices the behemoth doesn't come back, which is also interesting.
Mhm.
Wander offers dark vision to Ishmael during their watch. Felix thinks of the behemoth and it points. I didn't write down the direction. Interesting. I don't remember which way it pointed. Ishmael, on his first watch, when we camp after walking for the whole day, he makes a fire and he thinks he can hear very faint noises, rustling brush, but he doesn't see anything. Felix's second watch. Oh boy, spicy.
Mhm.
The first hour, there's nothing. The second hour, he feels his alarm spell go away. It isn't triggered, it just disappears. He tries to wake everyone up, but he hears a voice from the shadows that says, I wouldn't do that. It's a southern accent, so it's probably Dwarn. He sees a shape apparate with a dagger to Ishmael's throat. There's a Dwarn wearing a suit of similar power armor in sneak mode. He says, we're just here to talk. The voice comes into view, and Felix sees a Dwarn in a not stealthy suit, but it's got more metal than the other ones. Felix recognizes it as Anders from the Breakers. He wants to speak on behalf of the Breakers and extend an olive branch. Felix asks what they want from him. Anders says Aetherwolf wants to speak. Of course, Google Docs keeps trying to correct Aetherwolf into Leatherwolf. That's how to keep saying it
Leather
now.
wolf?
Leatherwolf, because it's yeah, that's funny. They say to go immediately under escort, or that he can go back to Touchstone within a couple of days. Felix says he may be there in a few weeks. Anders says Aetherwolf may not be peaceful for too long. Anders also says he knows what happened in Orin. Aetherwolf has his eyes in Orin. Felix is a key to the city, and they want to keep tabs on him. Anders threatens the group again with the knives. Felix says Felix has 1 day to get to either reply or to go to Touchstone. Felix says he will arrive when he arrives. Anders says 2 days max. Skip a few. Anders asks what Felix is trying to do. Felix says his projects take priority. Felix notices Anders' suit has red alchemite, the others have clear. They turn invisible and leave. Felix wakes up Tizol and tells him everything. Tizol's watch, nothing happens. The group wakes up, and Felix shares the encounter from his watch. We decide that finding the priestess is a higher priority. Council asks Felix to use the compass to think of the biggest threat to Orin and points east-northeast, which I think is the Kraken. Not really sure. Same direction. Council reads another word. It says, "My covenant is broken, I." And then we continue south. Tizol and Wander scout. They see the behemoth north.
Hmm.
The weather is nice. Nothing happens. Tizol sees nothing more. Felix casts alarm when we rest. Council reads again. It says, "My covenant is broken, I may." Wander's watch. Nothing. Felix's watch. Felix casts see invisibility for 2 hours of his watch. He buffs himself up to make sure he's ready for anything that can happen. At the edge of his vision, he sees someone come into sight. When they notice him looking at them, they stop and they walk around a bit to see if, Felix's vision can see them. And then they leave. Felix wakes everyone up. Felix asks if we want to pursue them or not. We decide to wait. We plan to set up trap for
What's
the
that?
pursuit.
Point of clarification.
Oh,
They did not immediately leave. They sat and continued to watch Felix until a second figure came up and retrieved them, and they left together.
true.
Yeah.
That is true. We decide to set a trap for the pursuers the next night. Felix has something to deal with the invisibility. Ishmael has the idea to bury a rope between the person watching and Felix, so Felix can alert them when the people are nearby. Felix will pretend to sleep while someone else has their watch. So that night on Tizol's watch, nothing happens. Oh,
He rolled a nat 20 and nothing happened. He
Oh,
was
he was
wide awake
right.
the whole time. Thank you very much. Continue.
Council reads again on his watch. Not his watch, on the morning. "My covenant is broken, I may speak." Tizol flies south ahead of the group and confirms the direction with the compass. We review the plan before he goes. So Tizol wants to fly ahead of us to set up the ambush area or campsite. He keeps an eye out for a cave, but unfortunately he doesn't find anything. But he does find an outcropping of rocks. He puts down some random vegetation as an alarm. We walk along the mountains the whole day. Tizol takes the first watch. Felix casts Glyph of Warding to ward against a Dwarn that isn't him. The weather is clear. Council reads a bit more from the book. We all go to sleep. Tizol and Felix watch. Nothing happens the first hour. Then we see a ship coming at us. We all wake up, all woken up, and rush over to the ship. Tizol scouts the ship, It's overflowing with lumber. Sledge stops the ship. We decide to bring the wood to Orin. Sledge tests if the ship can go over water as we're returning. It seems to dip at first, but then it kind of rides above the waves, which is fantastic. The sails start to come down and envelop the ship as we're over the water. And then as we go back over the sand, they rise again, which is super cool. Felix checks for any stowaways. Good call. And then when he looks inside the small box built into the helm of the ship again with his, I think it's because he had seen invisibility or something. I don't know. He
He
sees
had
at the,
seen visibility.
yeah, at the back of the box is a Dwarn D. So
Mhm.
we're pretty sure Dalen made the ship as well. And then finally, one more reading from the book. It's "My covenant is broken, I may speak freely of." And that's it. Session 38.
Yes, it is session 39, unless anyone has anything to add. Session 39 is entitled Decrescendo.
Decrescendo. That's not Spanish, right? It's not D-E crescendo. Decrescendo.
No, it's D-A-Y crescendo.
Okay.
It's the crescendo of the day.
Just say nighttime. Don't be fancy.
I spelled it right on the first try accidentally. No squigglies.
Nice.
I was
Wow.
not expecting that at all.
Isn't Decrescendo noon? Anyway.
You find yourselves aboard the ship, traveling north towards Orin throughout the night. Does anyone take watches? Or are you all just collapsing? And where? Keep in mind the deck of the ship is covered in lumber. So if you'd like to crash below deck, you certainly can.
I think we should still take watches,
Yeah, Tizzle would want to take a watch.
I agree.
and we can sleep in the below deck and watch above with assuming Sledge just has the wheel.
Okay.
The helm.
I don't know if that was 3 people or not, but or 4, however many Ishmael would be
Do we need to watch
Volunteering.
if Sledge is driving?
to watch.
Up to you
I
guys.
think it'd just be prudent.
Yeah, true. All right.
Okay.
And additionally, whenever there's free time, Ishmael is asking Sledge about captaining or piloting the ship and how it works, kind of the basics of it.
Great. So then let's have everybody goes downstairs. When Ishmael, when you step at the top of the stairs, as you start to head down, you hear what sounds like a creaking like wood board that you're stepping on, like when you were back on your old ship, like when you go down the stairs. Nobody else seems to hear or really notice.
Are the ships, are the steps metal or wood?
They are metal.
Gotcha. Ishmael stops and looks down at the board that he thinks the creaking came from to see
Okay.
if anything seems odd or strange. Noticing that they're made of metal
Mm-hmm.
catches him off guard.
Yeah, looking around at your feet, you're stepping on metal planks. Think of like the metal grated stairways. That is exactly what you're stepping on.
He ducks down to get a better look, kind of examine it, or if he can see through or beyond it as well.
Perception or investigation?
That is going to be a 12.
Looking at it, it's different craftsmanship than what you're used to, so you don't exactly know what you're looking for. You would imagine that a squeak like that would come between some kind of like friction between like a nail and a wooden plank that's moving against it. You're not seeing any wood to be found. It's all metal.
Okay. He just continues down the stairs then.
You continue downstairs. I believe Tizal, you're taking the first watch. It was
Sure.
Tizal, Felix, Ishmael. Is that who is?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Don't let me dictate.
No, I don't think we set an order necessarily, but that works.
Yeah, we were just throwing out that we were volunteering. But I think that order works for me.
Yep. Before we rest for the night, Council would like to read another word, please.
Didn't you read another word, I believe.
Oh yeah, right.
You
when
got
we
on
ended
the
last
ship.
time we got on the ship. That's right.
Yeah.
We good. I'll say
Because
that.
we're
No
doing it in
double
the morning
dipping.
now.
Yeah, I'll be safe with this.
Yeah, go ahead and double dip. Do it.
No,
I dare you.
I will not give in to
I
temptation.
double dog dare you.
Don't tempt me, Frodo.
Okay. Tizal. Perception check.
13.
13.
Oh, I'm sorry, 14.
14. So this is almost a continuance of your watch that you had started when you were on land. You don't really notice anything most of the night. The wind is just kind of whipping by. The sails stay up. There is little to no movement from Sledge aside from occasionally adjusting where things are going. You do notice the additional sentient that Felix had brought on board has been fully repaired at this point and is helping Sledge
Oh,
to
cool.
kind of man the sails and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
That's good to know.
Yep, and it just wordlessly goes around and does its thing. And when it has nothing else to do, it just kind of goes and stands next to Sledge and waits.
Huh.
But
Okay.
other than that, you don't notice anything.
He would wake
Head
up the
down.
next person.
Does
Who's
it have
next?
a name?
Hmm?
Council would have asked if it has a name.
Uh,
Or
we
is
could
it
talk
just-
about it tomorrow.
Okay.
Then Felix, you are next up.
Cizal would wake up Felix and tell him about the sentient coming back to life, even though he didn't go address anything. He would tell him about
Sure.
it.
Yeah,
Ghost
you guys
Rose?
may not have noticed him when you got on the ship previously.
Was it working when I last left, or was he?
It was still pulling itself together.
Yeah, and it was just
So
kind of doing so through like the energy of the ship, right?
as far as you could tell,
Is there any alchemite in it?
in the thing.
Yeah, the way that Sledge has the green alchemite inside of him.
You did not put any inside it. If you would like to investigate it more on your watch, you
I
can.
would like to, and I'm going to. So for my watch, I'm going to do the see invisibility and enhance ability.
Why don't you make me a perception check then for your watch at disadvantage because you're distracted?
17, because I have advantage, but so it just can't. Suck.
Okay, so just flat roll. Okay. Yeah, your watch, as far as you know, nothing happened. But then looking and investigating the sentient, is there anything in particular you are looking for, or you just kind of want to know more about how it's constructed, what it's doing, what?
Yeah, how it's constructed, what's powering it, and since I have seen visibility on it, been what helped me see the rune on the ship, I'm gonna look for a rune on this thing.
Okay, sure. Looking over, roll me at investigation or perception again.
And I'm gonna flash of genius this one.
Of
So
course. Do you have any left?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's gonna be 22.
22. Looking over this thing, you can see that its construction is almost identical to Sledge, minus two key components, which are both inside of like the main cavity of it. You don't see a place for an alchemite to sit. So it's not powered by any alchemite, and it doesn't have a voice box. There's nothing that makes any sound on this, and it doesn't like its faceplate. There's no like mouth or anything indicating that it would be able to speak.
Okay.
As far as you can tell, it seems to be getting its power source just from the ship itself. And what did you roll a 22? Is that right? Looking with the sea invisibility on the inside of the chest cavity, you can see there is a Dwarn D that's engraven.
Crazy.
Alan just made everything.
He's
Ishmael checks the tags of his underwear.
It says Haynes.
Hmm.
Who's this guy?
In the previous world, Dalen was actually just the name of the Amazon. It's the little Dorn D with the smiley arrow underneath it.
Good old Jeff Dalen. Yeah, other than that, nothing that you notice. Is there anything else you'd like to investigate or?
Nope, that's all.
Cool. Then you head down to wake up Ishmael. Okay.
Yep.
Ishmael, you start your watch. Anything in particular you would like to do?
No. No.
Then just make me a normal perception check.
Oh man, you're not rolling the best. 10.
10?
Yeah.
I think that Ishmael is probably too distracted by the ship. Since this is his first time seeing it, and seeing Sledge. Well, no, did he encounter Sledge?
No.
No, because Sledge was already gone. That's right. So yeah, this is
Yeah.
Ishmael's first time experiencing any of this.
Yep.
So he's a little too distracted to have a real good watch in those early parts of the morning hours, essentially. When the sun starts to rise, why don't you make me another perception check?
16.
16. When the sun is coming up and you are getting closer to Orin, you can see the large shape of what you have been told is the behemoth off to the left hand side. So closer to the mountains than where you guys are.
Yeah, so off a ways.
And it seems to be making its way down south to hunt for the morning.
Okay.
Other than that, nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
Just hang out up top till others wake up.
Great. Everyone wakes up at some point and stays downstairs, goes upstairs.
Council reads.
First thing?
Mhm.
First thing. He sits up
Okay.
and just goes, book.
All right.
We get
Are
in
you
position
waiting-
around him?
Yes, are you
Over the
alerting
desk?
anybody? Are you waiting for everyone to get in position, or
Oh,
Just gonna wing it.
I guess I'll be responsible. Yeah,
Just wing
I'll
it.
wait.
eventually Ishmael would probably notice that there's sounds downstairs and come down and investigate, I imagine.
Yeah, when everyone's ready, he'll be like, okay, let's do the thing quickly.
Okay.
Get your knives out, put them on my neck.
Yeah, we don't have to play it out, but he probably would have waited for someone to come up. I think Ishmael remains enamored by the ship.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Having spent essentially his life on ships, this is pretty dang neat to him. So he would just wait for somebody to come above deck.
Who would go get Ishmael?
Council.
Council, you go get Ishmael, bring him back downstairs. Ishmael, again, when you step on that top step, you hear the same noise.
When that happens this time, Ishmael says to Council, "Did you hear that?"
Does Council hear that?
Make me a perception check.
Oh, when Council wakes up.
Actually,
goes to
what's your passive
Ishmael.
perception?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because you wouldn't have been like particularly paying attention for it. With a 16, yeah, you probably did.
We hear the creak again from the top step. You said.
Yes.
Council looks to Ishmael and then inspects the step.
Make me a
Assuming-
perception or investigation, whichever you want.
Perception is +6. Investigation is +2. So definitely perception. I rolled a 13 +6. 18.
18. Looking over the step, you don't see anything of note whatsoever.
He tries to replicate it.
Just
Okay.
gonna say Ishmael does
Yeah.
the same. He steps
Yeah.
a couple more times.
The council asks him to put his weight on and off the step, and then he watches the step to see if he can pinpoint where the sound is.
Yeah, Ishmael, every time you like take your foot up and you put it back down, you hear that say like
I know that sound. It's the sound of a wooden step on a ship. I've heard that most of my life.
Which is impossible because this is not wood, as you know. Council goes to get Felix. He's like, I am perceptive, but I am not inventive.
Do you tell Ishmael that you're going to get Felix?
Yeah. Council's like, I
Okay,
think we
so
need more.
Ishmael just hangs out there for a
experts.
minute.
Okay. Council, you run down the stairs, grab Felix, bring Felix up. Do you guys come all the way up the stairs? Do you stop on the stairs where...
Council
As
will
soon
let
as they
Felix go ahead of him, so he's looking eye level at the step, and then Ishmael could be at the top and putting his weight on it. And...
Ishmael starts to step as soon as they get to the stairwell.
Okay.
Do you hear that? He says to Felix.
Yeah, Felix, you don't even have to give me a passive perception. You would hear it.
Okay.
If you're paying attention to it, you would hear it. Anytime Ishmael puts his foot down on that first step.
Guessing this might be the first time we heard it because you're probably heavier than the rest of us.
I heard it once last night, but I thought nothing of it. It seemed a bit odd, but I moved on.
I step on it as well to see if I hear it.
Nothing. When you put your boot down on it, it's just a solid clunk of metal.
What? What? Council puts his forehead on the step. So when Ishmael puts his weight on it, he can feel left or right, and any vibrations on direction, or like he's trying to pinpoint it. It's like, is it the whole step? Is it from its connection to the left or the right?
Through his forehead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
As close as possible.
Ishmael trips and accidentally curb stomps.
Oh no!
He's like, what the hell, man?
Oh my gosh. This just took such a dark turn.
Wasted.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be listening as well. Maybe not as closely, but just trying to. Can I get underneath the stairway?
So underneath the stairway is that other compartment where the larger piece of alchemite is.
Okay.
So it's not open. I mean, like you could crawl in there with it, I guess, if you got out of your suit, but like no, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room inside there.
Does the compartment have like a board or a roof or something? Like you can't just reach your arm down into it between the steps? Is there something?
Right. No,
blocking
yeah,
it?
the steps are underneath that grated pattern. There is like a solid piece underneath it.
So as they've got their heads near the step, Ishmael steps a couple more times, and he's trying to be real attentive. And
Okay. Everybody make me perception checks.
16 plus 6, 22.
22, nice.
13. Sorry, go ahead.
6 and 13, you said?
I got a 13. Yeah, I didn't hear what Jack said.
6.
6. So Felix, you're not entirely sure. I mean, you hear the sound clearly, but you don't notice anything whatsoever. Ishmael, you hear the sound as usual. Council, you hear the sound and you make note that nothing is moving. Like again, that normally that sound is because of there's some kind of like friction, but you can't see anything that is moving that would be causing this sound.
Does it sound like it's just emanating from the step?
It is right where Ishmael puts down his foot.
I might sound a bit crazy, but I'm wondering if this is some sort of metaphysical emission. The fact that the sound doesn't emit when anyone else but someone who has spent most of their life on a ship steps on it. That seems strange to me. It's as if there's some sentience observing this. Maybe it's from the ship. Maybe it's from something else. But it seems to play the sound, to emit the sound, because of you, Ishmael. I don't know why. But I don't think it's the ship.
You speak of things I do not have much knowledge of, but there does seem to be some kind of connection to something else. I have no explanation for what is happening.
I don't either.
You guys look in the corner, and Tizal's making the noises with his mouth.
Council beams him with a bag of flour and eggs and throws him in a fire.
Kentucky Fried Tizal.
Unfortunately, I'm no expert on spirits, ghosts, or similar. Or whatever else there is. So that is just a guess.
Is Tizal there?
You would be downstairs is where everybody was prior to
I'm
this.
sure they could hear us.
Yeah.
You probably would have joined in, hearing like,
Mhm.
yeah. Let's say Tizal's been there for the majority of the conversation. If that's cool.
Sure.
Ugh.
Does Tizal want to make me perception? Perception
Sure.
check as well.
20, dirty 20.
30-20. Same things. You notice that, yeah, there is a sound, and it is coming from when Ishmael puts down his foot. Other than that, you don't notice anything, don't see anything.
Is it possible, if this ship was made by Dalen, that similar to the compass and Revan, or these other items like the hammer and Felix, that the ship is trying to attune with Ishmael?
If that were the case, it would have attuned to us beforehand. We spent weeks on the ship. Well, a week.
Days. Like, you spent like a week.
Yes.
I do not think we'll
Strange.
be able to find the reasoning by standing here and inspecting the step, but I do believe it is unique to Ishmael.
Maybe there is a connection with the giant Kraken deity that Revan was associated with.
I was going to ask if you have any connections to strange entities or powerful beings like Revan did.
Unless I'm missing something, DM, I'm going to say no. I do not.
DM approved.
And I don't know. And until something more happens, I don't think we can know. That being said, since we're all here, I'm going to read from the journal.
I will keep my ears open for other creaks throughout the ship.
Wander woke up a little bit late, and he was nearby, but he finally comes over and goes, what's the deal with the stairs?
Every time Ishmael steps on the top step, it emits a wood-like creak.
Ishmael steps upon Consul saying that to demonstrate.
Curious.
And Wander, what does that sound like to you? He steps
Sounds
again.
like wood creaking.
Sounds like me chafing.
Oh,
Got
that's a
this new
damper
white-
sound. That's a spring fall damp sound, actually.
I was gonna say Bob Vila would love this stream. 45 minutes talking about a squeaky step.
This Old Ship. Tonight on the episode of This Old Ship, brought to you by Lowe's.
Okay. All right. Council's going to read from the journal now that everyone's here. Everyone, I assume, gets in positions, whatever. You're down. Are you downstairs in the ship, or are you doing it upstairs?
Right on the stairs.
Upstairs.
Okay.
Because transforming downstairs is like ripping a soup can open.
You could head on upstairs.
Are you near the top of the stairwell?
He'll do it kind of at the edge.
Yeah.
Just so someone can shove him off if needed.
Wonder lets Sledge know what we're up to.
Good call.
And-
Communication.
And then Wander says to Sledge, and perhaps as you're being aware, if there is a transformation, perhaps some aggressive driving could push him off of the ship if executed at the right moment. Just be on your toes, captaining wise.
Understood. He kind of grips both sides of the helm and just waits for any sign. Whereas you notice the other sentient then also stops and like comes down and like joins the circle, essentially like ready to start beating up on council.
Just turn him full meat crayon. Throw him in front of the ship.
Okay.
Do my roll. Yeah, 18 plus 8, 26.
What did you get to? I may speak.
What was the next word, Spencer, after that?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Where he got
No.
to.
I know.
I was trying to-
I'm not giving away nothing.
My covenant is broken. I may speak freely of.
The next word is past.
Oh. My covenant is broken. I may speak freely of past. Interesting.
And you rolled a natural 18, you said?
Yes. Well, an
Alright,
18
so-
plus 8.
Yeah, you feel perfectly fine
Okay.
reading this. You gonna
Council
chance
nods
it?
and closes the book.
So this is more like a test of the player more than it is the character.
I know. I hate it so much.
Are you sure you don't want to read another word, Alex? Are you sure?
Council wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't. See, if this were real and we weren't in the restraints of a group, Council would go like out all the way by himself, somewhere by the mountain, and just read as much as he wants, transform, go back, read as much as he wants, transform, go back.
Mhm.
It's like, guys, I'm back. My
can
face is
do that.
missing.
You read. He closes the book. Any onlookers, you don't notice any change in him or in his behavior. He looks like he just opened up the book, looked at it for a few seconds, and then closed the book.
How far on through this page am I?
Not very.
So not even halfway.
So the previous entries that he is aware of were maybe 2 lines long, and this is 3.
Okay.
So it's a little longer than the previous entries. Still not like ridiculous. This is not his whole life story.
Okay.
Or if it is, it's very condensed. Or he didn't have a long life.
I mean, Eleanor, not much for fluff.
Mhm.
I could summarize my entire major life event as I moved to America. Done.
I was born, and
I
then
was
I
born.
moved.
Ishmael breaks the silence after several seconds by stepping on the step a couple more times.
Squonky?
Yeah, and you notice each time to
Is it the same sound every time? Like identical?
it's pretty dang identical.
It's like an MP3.
Is this
on
a sample?
Yeah, yeah.
Dot
Somebody just looped it.
And then one time he steps on it and it goes, wow, 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 wow. Wrong one.
It's like the Science Museum steps. As he goes down, the tones get lower. As he goes up,
Yeah,
the tones
exactly.
get higher.
Council's gonna go stand at the front of the ship.
Yeah, now that you guys have been awake for some time, you can see the walls of Orin on the horizon. You'll be there within half an hour.
Since we are here, are we going to warn the town of potential breakers?
How
Yeah.
long's it been?
What?
How long's it been since? Has it been one evening since we got
One
the
day,
notice?
right?
Since they visited you the first time,
Since they told Felix 2 days max.
Isn't
This
the
is day
second-
2, right?
This is day 2, yeah.
this is the second day after they told you that in the night.
Okay. So we might be coming up to an onslaught, potentially.
We should
Well-
warn them.
No, because they told you
The
2
evening?
days. You had a day, and then you saw them, and then you had a day, and then you got on the ship. So no, this is the start of the third day.
Okay.
Okay.
Still could have been a bluff, but anything we can do to make Aetherwolf's life harder, we should.
I'm sure the Magister will be stressed to hear about.
I still don't understand why he wants Orin, wants anything to do with it. But
Well, keep in mind, Aether Wolf now has control of Touchstone and all of its knowledge.
And the barrier seems like something they would want to study as well.
The barrier,
something
the
I
heart
want
of
to
the
study.
world, the Kraken, the very nature of the city might all be recorded. He may know more than us at this point.
We need to be prepared for a fight. It's been more than 2 days. When we get closer, we might have to fight or save the Magister and others.
We have time for that.
We are going to be there anyway and unloading the lumber.
But if our current heading is to potentially save the entire world, should we be subverted to save that of a village?
Our signs have been pointing us out into the ocean. I suppose the ship does float.
We are going to be there anyway. It's not going to be a waste of time.
Yes.
If it were a multiple days trip, I agree. But it's going to take an hour or more to remove all of this wood from the ship. While that's happening, we can inform them of the potential attack.
And it seems to me it would be quite prudent to let them know, because if Mr. Thunder is in the hands of the Dwarn right now and things go south, it may not go as well for him as it might have gone otherwise. I don't know. There's a lot we don't know about that situation.
I still think the city of Orin has a key to play in our mission.
I agree.
And
Agreed.
having it in the hands of friendly folk to us would make things go a lot smoother.
Agreed.
Coming up to the outside of Orin, are you, assuming you are intending to stop, are you stopping at the normal spot where you stopped and unloading lumber? Are you driving the ship like up to the gates? Are you driving
Is
the
it-
ship inside?
Are the
Uh,
gates big enough for the ship?
Make me an investigation check.
Sledge, did they tell you where they wanted you to bring this supply?
No.
I see.
19 on the investigation.
19? No, the ship is too wide. It would not fit through the gates.
Wait, so if they're building the ship, why do they have camps by the forest? Are they
They're
cutting down
harvesting the
trees
wood.
and building there?
They might need the tools, and maybe there's like some makeshift dry docks here.
Oh, so they weren't building the ship there.
They're
okay.
collecting the wood there because there's no wood
Ah,
here.
Okay, got it.
Right.
Cool. All right. We may need to drive the ship around the city and follow the water to get inside.
The only ways to get in, though, is through the gates, right?
No, there's the dock that was just recently destroyed.
That's outside of the shield.
That is outside of the shield.
Yes.
Do you know where they want this wood delivered?
No, I suppose we can ask when we're delivering the news of potential attacks.
They may not even want it inside those city walls, or perhaps they want it at the docks.
True.
It'd be worth inquiring.
Let's stop as close as we can to the gate and ask the Magister.
If we're going to leave the ship, we should leave Sledge with instructions on what to do
Yes.
in the case that we're attacked while the ship is out here. I'd rather not this ship fall into Aethelwolf's hands.
I can stay back on the ship and help to guard it.
I was thinking only one of us goes inside, and the rest guard the ship. But if they're inside the city, that would prove unfortunate.
Perhaps at least two should go.
I need to go visit Kaz.
I can also fly above the city and look inside the barrier and see if anything is amiss before we even enter.
I will come with you. I would love to see Orn from the air.
Right, it's a see-through barrier, right? It's just gotta be
Translucent. Yeah,
translucent.
you can see through it, but everything is tinted green.
Sure.
It's
This
hazy.
is perfect. I mean, literally everyone is going their own way, and we know that this is always successful. So let's do it. Let's go. Break the party up.
How do we feel about Sledge staying moving while we are inside?
We might need the ship immediately. I think leaving him with instructions on if he does see movement.
I'm concerned that he may be jumped by invisible assailants. If he's driving in small circles, that may be a bit difficult.
That's true. Stay nearby, but keep moving so that no one could hop on.
Agreed.
Fly casual.
Sledge, can you see invisible things?
I am unsure.
Council turns invisible. I'm kidding.
What?
Sorcerer levels.
What class did you take?
When he reads the book backwards, that's what he can do.
Oh, it's like playing Eagles backwards or whatever.
He starts reading the book at the same time as the very start of The Wizard of
No.
Oz.
It doesn't work because he's a slow reader.
All right.
All the hubbub is about.
Sledge,
Okay.
we
Yes.
think you may be attacked by invisible assailants. Do you agree that keeping moving while we are away would help you stay safe?
Yes.
Okay.
Why
Please
do you
drive,
think Sludge will be attacked?
because he's controlling the ship.
I
The
thought they
ship
were.
is an asset.
I see.
And when we need you, we can have Tizal fly and land on the ship and tell you.
Should I remain on the ship with Sledge?
I,
Can help to keep it safe.
if you wish to do so, you can also accompany me. If I may be attacked in the city as well.
You should warn if you're going to go talk to the Magister.
I am.
You should warn him that if Aethelwolf attempts, don't allow Aethelwolf to even attempt any sort of diplomacy. Because that could be his way of ambushing the city. And also, even if whatever he does propose, if it sounds good, it's not. He should not be trusted.
Very well.
Attacked on sight.
Ishmael, you have your own agency if you wish to stay on the ship and guard it. If we lose the ship, we will lose weeks or months of methods of travel since we have to go out in the ocean.
Before
Yes,
you go ahead.
It seems a crucial asset. It is the driver of wanting to stay aboard with Sledge.
Very well.
Council, before you enter, would you like Wander and myself to look in the city first to make sure it's safe for you?
That is a risk I think we don't have to, or that I'm willing to make. I mean, you fly much faster than I walk. I'm not going to be sprinting inside. If you start flying now, you will be several hundred feet ahead of me before I get through the gates.
So you do want us to go or no?
Yes. Tis all.
Okay.
You can fly now. Make loud noises if there's something wrong.
He screeches.
Just like that. Good bird.
And
Wander?
we'll meet back at the gate when we're done, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Council
Wander.
hops off the ship, starts walking to the gate.
Wander
Okay.
makes a fierce eagle sound.
So did you stop at the gate, or did you stop at the normal spot and you are walking to the gate? We never
Stopping at
established
the
that.
gate.
As you pull up to the gate, you can see the gates are open, and there are people who are casually walking in and out. You see small caravans of people that are leaving. Some are heading towards the mountain, some are heading north. But as far as you can see, there is nothing out of the normal from when you left the city previously.
Okay. The direction is mostly out, or are people coming back in as well?
No, there's not really anybody who's going back into the city.
Oh,
But this
At
is
this
the
point.
morning, right?
Yes.
Okay. Excuse me.
So you head into the city. Who else is going in with Council? Felix?
So
Okay.
Wander and Tizal are going to fly above to make sure
That's
it's
right.
safe.
Yep, and Ishmael staying with the ship.
I think we would have done that before they entered. I think that was the idea, that we would
Okay.
park and then we would scout quick.
Okay.
I guess scout ahead before they walked into the city.
Should we, Council, should we split up, or should we go to the Magister and then visit Kaz?
I think for the sake of time, despite some aspects of logic saying we should not split up, we can split when I reach the tower and you can continue to the temple. Same as before. If you need any help, make a loud noise in some way.
All right.
He grips his alchemite.
He smashes a white and a red together.
Oh no! Steam explosion. Boom.
All right. Tizal and
Tell the Magister that I intend to be at the forge
Very well.
to help prepare the guard.
When we get back?
Just today.
Just today. Very
Are
well.
we leaving today?
I was
Well,
planning
either
to
way,
leave
I'm setting Kaz out on the forge.
Very well.
That's my plan.
I plan to leave as soon as the ship is unladen.
Very well.
We have a dying entity that is communicating through us to us through mystical visions from across the world. I think there's a sense of urgency there.
Tizal and Wander, if you would make me perception checks. Does one person want to take advantage, or you want to make them separately? You choose.
I have advantage already as a giant eagle, so
Take 'em separate.
Ooh. Good. I got an 11.
17.
17. You looking down into the city from above the dome, you don't see any areas of commotion. Doesn't appear like there are any battles that are going on. There's no fighting. It has resumed the slow pace that it had before the tsunami. People aren't even really moving around with a lot of hustle and bustle. You still see that there is a large number of people who are around the temple in the middle of town. But other than that, there's a little bit of traffic moving in different directions down the main thoroughfare south and out west to this district. But for the most part, it is quiet. You squawk that to Tizal, share somehow, point things out.
Hmm.
Okay. Tizal, you are also aware. Any action you would like to take on that point, or?
Is the makeup of the people that we do see any different?
Not that you can tell.
Any farmers in power armor?
No, you don't see any additional Felixes.
Just the one.
Just the one.
Okay.
Wander communicates to Tizal to the best of his ability that he wants to go fly over the water a little bit because he's never seen the outline of the city from the sky like this.
Tizal thinks, why does he want to go get a cheeseburger?
Has Tizzle ever had cheese before?
No, of course not. He's lactose intolerant. The hollow bones.
Most burgers are.
Tizzle nods and like leads the way because he knows he's flown out above the ocean, so he kind of knows the lay of the land of what's probably the safest path to fly given Big Kraken.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, knowing what you know about where the Kraken last was, or at least where you last saw its tentacles, you lead him in that direction.
Big Kraken sounds like a conspiracy. It's just a scheme from Big Kraken.
Big Pharma, Big Shampoo, Big Kraken.
The trifecta.
Mm-hmm. All right. You guys get out over the sea a little ways. You can see back against. Let's see. Can you see this? Yeah, you can. You can see there is a tentacle up against the side of the dome still. It has receded some, like it's kind of slid down, so it's not as like up and pronounced up against the dome as it once was, but it is still there. And then you can see from your height, there are several other spots in the ocean where you can see things. Other than that, anything in particular you're looking for, wander out over the ocean, or just wanting to experience it?
Just experiencing it and absorbing the view from up here and trying to get a picture for what the city might have looked like before. Just kind of imagining back in time.
Okay. Sure.
Tizzle would probably explain that as they're flying based on the things he's seen before.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, so you guys are going to spend a good deal of time out there. Okay.
Tizzle would want to check on... Go ahead.
I was like, on your right is the docks, and on your left is the massacre of the native people.
If your flotation device pops up, please secure it to yourself first before assisting others.
You point out the things that you know of the city.
Yeah. I would want to check that southern bell tower with a tentacle that seems like it moved to like a, I don't know, protective.
temple?
Yeah, the temple. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll resolve over your guys' stuff before we go to everybody else.
Okay.
So you kind of circle out around the out into the ocean. I'm assuming you're staying away from the middle, maybe? I don't know, maybe not.
Yes.
Okay. You come in and kind of circle back towards the temple that was in the more southern district. Make me a perception check.
17.
17. Wander.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Mm-hmm.
Wander, what you notice, because you see that the tentacle is still there, is that while you are flying around, again, the size of the tentacle is massive. It's just the thickness of it at this point is like half the height of the temple itself.
Good
And it is like wrapped up and around the bell tower.
Jeez.
You can see that every, I don't know, couple seconds, the tentacle will tense. Like you'll see it almost like flex. And then it will stop. And it will kind of like slump down a little bit on the temple. And then it will like kind of re-grip and flex again. And then slump.
How
And it does this basically the entire time that you are watching it.
I definitely share this with Tizal.
What the frick?
You squawk it as best as you can to Tizzle.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Council and Felix.
You know world building. So many questions. Stupid.
Sorry. You make your way inside. Or are you waiting for Tizal and Wander to come back and report that all is well before you go in?
No, he's been walking the whole time.
Okay. You make your way in and you again hear the same conversations that you heard when you left, where some people are talking about, well, maybe it's safer to the north. They could go to New Orin, that's further away from the ocean. There's not any sea beasts there. Or there are others who are again making their way under the mountain. Most people seem to be staying in this portion of the city. Can you see that? Yes, you can.
Okay. Yeah.
Out here in this area, it's definitely the minority that are leaving and heading other places. But
Okay,
no
so
one
it's
seems
not
to really
most
be going back into the main part of the city
Okay.
yet, at least.
Okay. He's just gonna head straight to the tower.
As soon as you guys enter into the second gateway into the main part of the city,
Mm-hmm.
you actually hear from the Magister's window up in his tower. He says, "Oh, Council! Felix! Wait right there!" And then he disappears from the window.
Okay.
And then 30 seconds later, you hear of him like running down the stone steps of his tower. And he runs out, and you can see in his arms, he has some clay tablets, which immediately, Felix, you recognize these are some kind of like Dorn, something or other. They're not hewn for sure.
Interesting.
And he runs up to the two of you, kind of out of breath. Says, "I'm sorry. I'm just very excited. I told you before you left, I was looking. Actually, could we go back to my office? Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I don't."
After
And he
all
kind
of
of
our effort running out here.
Yeah, he looks around and he's like, "I didn't think this out very well. Let's go back in." And he kind of leads you back. And once you are out of earshot of the rest of the public, he starts in a low voice and says, "I spoke before you left that I was going to do some searching."
Before that, sorry.
Yes.
Out of character. As we enter,
Mhm.
a council wants to make sure the door closes behind us immediately.
Okay.
To make sure we're not being followed.
Okay.
By any invisible sand prints and things like that.
So he is talking to you before he gets up to his tower, or like up to the door.
Okay.
But when you get up to the door, yeah, you can make sure that it closes behind you. That's fine. He says, before you left, I said that I was going to do some searching for certain pieces of information from the records that have been brought here by others. And while I was not able to find anything, and he kind of again looks around as you guys make your way into the stairwell leading up, and he pauses until you're in the stairwell. And he says, regarding the heart and regarding the Kraken, I wasn't able to find anything there. But what I have here, and he points to the tablets that he's holding on to, he says, this appears to have some amount of value to it. And we'll talk more. And then you get up to the door and make your way inside. You make sure to close it behind you quickly. Says, these are very old. And as far as I can tell, are Dwarnish writings. I've only been able to surmise what I could based off of the copy of the law that Felix left with me. I was able to make out some of the words and things, but I
Felix,
don't entirely know what I have.
Can I see the tablets?
Oh, absolutely. And he like walks over to the table then and sets them down and just kind of lays them out in front of you. And these are what you can see. They are a stack of like clay tablets. Each one is probably about 8 inches tall and maybe 6 inches wide. And there is between like, I'd say like 12 of these tablets. And what you can see on them is, it's just Dwarnish writing, front and back. He says, I did see in there, kind of like peeking over your shoulder, there was mention of 2 things of note. There's Dalen. I saw that written in there. And there is also a point about the law. So maybe you reading would be able to surmise more.
I start reading them.
Okay.
Where did you find these?
As Felix is reading, he explains they were amidst the piles of artifacts that people had brought. No matter if they're hewn or dworn, I have actively sought out any knowledge that people have brought with them in their fleeing here. And I've asked for them to be brought so that I can find it as much as I can. And this was in the pile. I don't know exactly who they belong to or how long ago they're from, but they made their way here.
A wise pursuit. Well done.
Thank you. And he kind of looks over at Danny, who's like, you can see is sitting in like his normal spot, like kind of on the like lounge couch thing. He's got an apple in one hand and he's munching away, and he's got a book open in the other hand. And he just kind of gives a thumbs up to the Magister.
Not playing Fortnite on his Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely doing that.
No.
He's actually playing it on his mobile phone.
Council shoots the phone.
That was $800. It was a cheap phone.
$30.
That's true. That's because you're gross. Felix, reading the tablets in front of you. This is essentially someone's journal, from what you can see.
Uh-oh. Don't read too quickly.
What do I turn into?
You turn into a bugbear. No, you just break out
His arm.
through your suit.
No.
Most of what you read is absolutely worthless to you. Just musings about their everyday, the goings on, whatever. You do, however, find two things of note. There is an entry that is labeled 11-3-2467. And it reads, "To sit at the feet of our God and protector Dalen has been nothing short of life-changing. His wisdom alone is a blessing to each of us, his mortal children. I shall surely remember this feeling for the rest of my life. He says he's leaving tomorrow and may not return in our lifetimes, but he will hear and answer the prayers of his devoted. I shall devote the remainder of my days to him and pray for his return, that I may partake of the sweet nectar of his wisdom again."
Can you paste that in chat so I don't
Yes,
have to
I
retype it?
can.
Thank you.
No.
Thank
And the
you.
date.
Sorry if you guys didn't get it. You
11-3-2467.
That's
Yes.
what I got.
And councils was 7-11-130.
Mhm.
Interesting. So was that 2,253 years ago?
Anyway, so that was one thing that you noted, because it specifically calls out the presence of Dalen. And you, from what you know of the law, what you know is that Dalen has basically been scrubbed from any history where you don't really speak of him. Like any of the statues of him are marred in some way so that you can't exactly tell that, who it is. And you find a version kind of in between the pages or the tablets of this journal. One of the tablets is a copy of the law, but it is an older copy.
Sorry, council doesn't know, so he's not excited.
Would you like to do anything with that information, Felix?
Yeah, well, what are some like differences with the old law that stick out to me?
So, looking at the two, you can see that this was written during the reign of Rune the First, which was the 25th king of the Dwarn. Lodvar was the 37th king. So this is, from what you can tell, about 1,200 years old.
Hmm.
So anything past, if you have your copy of the law, anything past 25 just isn't on there. And the two things,
There were some crossed out ones, though. I remember that.
there were. So there was one that was crossed out, and that was in the 28th was eventually crossed out, and the 32nd was crossed out. But those are not even on here, like they don't
Right.
even exist. There were also, a number that were crossed out above it. One of which that you notice was given by Gormer the First, who was the 20th king, so roughly 500 years before this journal was written. And it says, "All reverence shall be paid to only Dalen or Nain, no other higher beings."
Nain?
Who's Nain?
Nain. I will copy that as well.
Thank you.
Gormer the what?
The first.
The first.
He was the 20th.
Yeah.
I tell none of this to. No, just kidding.
Keep it all to yourself.
I break the tablets.
Oh no.
I'm trying to see if I could drag this over into the window and share it without like giving away any spoilers or anything. I don't think I think that it's fine.
Yeah, basically after I like peruse everything, Felix is gonna read aloud the whole thing, the first account or whatever, and then kind of
Mhm.
emphasize the part with the account of Dalen.
Okay.
And then explain what the other one is, the very old copy of the law, and point out that one that jumped out to me.
Something that you are now keenly aware of is the 27th law. Let's see again. Can you see this?
Mhm.
Yeah. From Terun the First is that all future additions to the law to be etched in metal. So that's your first key that this is much older, because this is not etched into metal. This is etched into clay. And you know that from your own copy of the law that you have. And you know that the 20th from Gormer the First was originally overwritten by one of the future laws, 31, that says all reverence shall be paid to the law.
Hmm.
Uh,
Has council ever heard the word name before or read it somewhere?
Just make me an intelligence check,
Good.
even with your keen mind.
13 plus 2, 15.
Felix shared the laws with us, right?
Yes.
He did.
With the writings, like with the names of all the kings and everything.
Yes. Yeah. There was a whole session where we talked about this.
Yeah, we had like the tablet and
Because the kings, there were kings named Nain. Is it the same one?
You didn't go to the visitor center and pick up your
Yeah,
copy of the law?
Oh,
You have to
Cesar
get the-
flew past it when he tried to distract the guard while Felix was re-upping his disguised self.
yeah, you're right, because looking at line 8 and 10 and 11 has Nainson.
Yep.
12 has Nainson.
Well, yeah, we don't have a name the first or whatever.
Right.
We do have presuming it's people named after Nain. Just how
Maybe.
there's people named after Dalen.
The kings get to choose their own name. Sorry, I'll shut up.
That was
Hmm.
originally one of the laws. Where is that? It's Gunnar the First. All kings to choose their own name upon their day of crowning.
Right. But the ones before that are before the law. So the
That's
Dalen
true.
the Third, Dalen the Second.
Whoever Gunnar was didn't like his name.
His name was Frank. That's why his name is Gunnar.
Yeah. So and what you talked about previously regarding this, and I'll refresh your memory, is that anytime someone gave a law that would precede another law or overrule a previous law, that is what is blacked out. So any of the remaining ones that are blacked out, that is because there is a law later on that overrules it.
Are all the ones blacked out here also blacked out in the old copy besides the 20th one?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. So
Yeah,
the only
so-
new one is the 20th one and the 25th.
Yes. Let me
Interesting.
quick pull
Sorry.
up something.
I interrupted before you resolved Council's role with him asking if he would have known about Nain. I don't know if you answered that.
No, he's never heard that before.
Okay.
Okay.
I think this would be the only place
Right.
he's ever seen that word name
Mhm.
before.
No, it's not there.
Interesting.
Wait, Chisel, are we there?
No, you were not. You guys are
Okay,
flying.
okay, yeah, that's it.
You're over the ocean.
I'm sorry.
Over the sea, over the sea.
Over the sea.
I knew a guy
Oh,
that
that's-
would buy atlases at rummage sales, and his hobby was to date the atlas based on what the countries were named at the time. I
Yeah.
can just imagine the Dwarn historians dating copies of the law based on which is crossed out where and which rules are relevant. And
Oh
When-
no, I'm sorry. There are additional ones that would be visible as well.
Ooh.
Oh.
I thought that I had prepared this well, but I did not.
When a new law is made, was it customary to destroy all other old records of the law? Like, what happened to those?
No, they were still around, but they were then just lost to the records
Sure.
because the Dwarn keep such immaculate records of history. To find any one given topic takes a lifetime of study
Yeah, I guess that would.
because you have to search through just endless piles.
Gonna be internet historians in 200 years.
Yeah, it's like
Exactly.
finding of an event that happens when every day is recorded in 1 year.
Right.
Mhm.
So you
Can't I control F all of the tablets?
would also know the law from Soon the First, which is as the children of Earth, the Earth and all of its resources belong to the Dwarn.
As the children of Earth, the Earth and all of its resources belong to the Dawn.
Which was later overruled by Name the Fifth, which is the Earth and its resources is to be shared openly with all creatures.
I bet soon is in the hole of shame.
As well, there's actually quite a few that you guys would know. I'm so sorry that I
That's
almost
fine.
didn't share these. This is Dalen the Sixth. Reads, all Dwarn that disobey the law will be exiled according to the judgment of the king.
Which is then
Overwritten by Magnus the First. Dwarn that disobey the law and are exiled may rejoin Dwarn society after a sign of penitence.
okay. Not as
Uh,
juicy as the previous revelations, but still pretty interesting.
And the fifth from Dalen the Fourth, which is all future additions to the law to be etched in stone, so a record is kept. Which was then overwritten by the all records shall be kept in metal. 27 by Terun the First.
Have I ever seen records kept on clay? Because that's what these are on, right?
It would be very rare in your. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't be. Everyday writings would be on clay, because rock is a far more abundant resource than metal is. You would be able to find rock and clay tablets.
Okay. Do they consider clay to be basically rock?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I assume it's baked and
right.
whatever.
Sorry, maybe clay is the wrong term. These are like your Dwarn shaped stone tablets. Like
Got it.
this is not just like a slab of rock. This is like a piece of rock that a Dwarn has used their innate power of the earth to be able to mold into a certain shape.
Gotcha.
I don't understand Law 2. The next child to be born after the reign of the prior king ends shall be the next king. Wouldn't that elevate the bloodline?
The next
No.
child, any child.
The next child.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they specifically kept it away from being isolated to a certain bloodline.
Interesting. And it's
Randomly
strange.
chosen kings.
So many people were named Dalen and Nain and Nainson.
Yeah, there is a history of good kings and of bad kings, which is why things like that I had mentioned. Where is it? Let me find it.
Well, soon the first sounded like kind of a dick.
Yeah, he wasn't one of the best. 17, which is actually Helgen the First.
17 is Helgen the second.
All kings to be judged upon their deathbed, and their remains to be placed in a place of reverence or a place of shame.
Okay.
So that when there started to be wicked kings, they decide Helgen II declared that kings will then be judged upon their death.
Council asks Felix if all kings are male.
Have
Has
they
there-
been?
There ever been a female king?
To your knowledge, they have all been male.
Okay. So that eliminates Nain being Dalen's wife or something.
So while you are kind of going over this, the Magister is then looking over your shoulder and says, "Is there anything interesting beyond what I previously found?"
And Felix, this is after Felix shared everything.
Oh, you share everything
Yeah,
openly?
I read the
Oh, that's right. You
basically
did say that.
the tablets and highlight emphasize the count with Dalen, and then I point
Okay.
out the differences in the laws.
Okay. And to which, yeah, he says, "I imagine that this is of some importance then to you or to your kind."
Always kind of disregarded the law. It's always contradicts itself, but I never really considered it as a record of history.
It does pinpoint the date that Dalen left, which to me is the most important piece of information.
We're not sure if that's the first one. Yes, the day after.
Yeah, the journal entry. Interesting.
Is it so? In the entry, it says 11/3/2467,
Mm-hmm.
and according to the law, that was 25. So you said it was about 1200 years ago, according to the Dwarn timeline.
Yeah. So Lodvar, the king that is or was, is the 37th king. And
it's
you
the
know
37th king. Okay.
from the very first law, the reigns of the kings are exactly 100 years.
So it was 12 reigns ago, so 1200 years.
It could be
And-
slightly less if King died early, but yes.
True. So the year in Council's journal is 130 of my 130th year. So that's not the year, that's how old he was. Okay.
Yes. Correct.
Interesting. Okay. Just trying to see if I could get a timeline of how long ago that was written.
Yeah.
This is interesting information, Magister.
I would. Would you like me to keep it safe, keep it hidden, or do we need to keep this information away from anyone else?
I do not see a danger in sharing it. I know the Dawn do not revere Dalen anymore, so any records of his leaving they would most likely view as uninteresting.
Because at some point in history, the Dwarven stopped believing that correct. Following the law.
That is correct.
That is right.
Most of the statues we saw in Touchstone have been defaced
Mhm.
to remove his likeness. Speaking of the Dawn, Magister, Felix, would you like to inform him of what transpired?
Yes. There is a certain sect of the Dwarven, I suppose a group of thugs, who are very capable of much destruction. And they've, I don't know if we've told you this already, but they have taken control of Touchstone. Their leaders, and I kind of give the kind of little mini chain of command, like Aetherwolf and some of his subordinates, but I was approached by some of their agents as we were out, and they say they have their eyes set on Orin next.
Did you discover this when you were looking for Master Thunder?
When we were looking for our ship to help us get around quicker, which we found the ship.
Oh, so you didn't go after Master Thunder.
We went for the ship first.
I see. You see his composure kind of falls a little bit.
The ship will help us find Master Thunder, but there's an immediate threat of Aetherwolf and his group called the Breakers attacking Orin. And they have technology much similar to this suit.
How did they get that? Or did you take it from them?
They took it from me.
All right.
It is inferior technology, but not one to be disregarded.
He said, kind of sits down and sits back into his chair. Says, "Do you know how many there are?"
How many do I remember there being when I was involved with them?
When you were involved with them, there was 100 to 150 of them.
Oh, jeez.
Of all the Breakers.
Yes.
When I was involved a few years ago with them, it was about 150 members.
Most likely double that by now.
Yes, especially if they've taken control of Touchstone. I imagine there's probably some sympathetic to whoever sits in the throne room.
Why do we believe that they've taken control of Touchstone?
That's another thing. It could all be a bluff. He's been known to do that. We don't know for sure if he's taken control. We do know that they've been causing a lot of trouble for Touchstone, to the point where Touchstone has needed to take drastic measures to defend itself.
Right.
And his threat on attacking here could also be a bluff. But it shouldn't be taken lightly. And with that, I would suggest if any Dwarven, especially Dwarven wearing armor like this, approach the city, do not give them audience. It is likely a ruse and a trap.
We haven't seen any that I'm aware of that have that particular garb. But certainly we'll need to keep an eye out. Do you think that the folks that are outside of this gate here, are they in danger?
I'm unsure.
The breakers
My
do not strike me as genocidal.
my gut feeling is if they have nothing valuable, and if they can't say use them as a hostages or bargaining chips, which they might, I would give a strong warning of avoiding Touchstone and the mountain. It's unsafe for now.
And did you say if you know why they're attacking Orin?
If Aetherwolf has gained control of Touchstone, he has also gained control of all of the knowledge that Touchstone holds. So while I don't know why he would want this, I do know that he might know a lot more than we do at this point about the
believe
city.
he kind of like just starts looking frantically around the room. Like, do you think that he would be coming for the heart?
He could be.
If he knows about it.
He could also understand the bells.
Bells?
If he were to simply ring it again, he wouldn't have to attack the city, because something else would.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, in this scenario, there appear to be three options. One, with this information, you can prepare and attempt to resist. A lot of people will die, and you may succeed. Two, you can flee and let them have the city, which would be greatly unfortunate for us, but it would prevent unnecessary death.
It might cause more death later.
Potentially, but we cannot plan for that, unfortunately. And the third option is you remain here, and when they show up, you let them in. Which would also be bad for us. But again, most likely, no one would die. And people wouldn't have to leave their rooms.
They have also been working with the cult of noon.
Oh, that's right.
Have they been working with James?
Yes.
I believe that was mentioned, yes.
You know, if we were to stand up for ourselves, what type of strategies they would have, what tactics they would employ against us.
Felix kind of goes into all the capabilities that he observed of the suit.
Okay.
Like the invisibility and the different implements that he heard from. I think Jurgen told him that maybe Kaz told him about the different tools they'd made for it.
Yep. All right.
Kaz might know more about their exact numbers, better estimate than me. I am going to Kaz immediately after this and setting him to work on building some weapons to combat the breakers.
All right.
We've devised technology they don't have. We've managed to mostly recreate guns, firearms, capable of probably piercing the armor.
And will you be here to aid?
Our quest will have us aiding elsewhere. Unless they manage to attack while we're still here. But I assure you, having Kaz on your side is a valuable asset.
Right.
You might be able to convince the group to stay for a day or two extra, but maybe no more than that. Talk to council.
Just kind of looks at council.
We would be hard pressed. The visions we have been receiving have been getting more dire, and the state of being of the one giving them has been elevated in a bad way. If they pass, it may lead to everyone dying.
So you will be wherever the voice is.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. If Kaz can help us, I think we'll be okay. I can't be certain, but last week I didn't know about the Kraken right outside our own gate, or that it would attack. So the future's uncertain.
If we manage to get back, depending on what information we get there, stopping Aetherwolf, or more importantly, getting to what Aetherwolf is sitting on, the knowledge of the most complete record of the world, is going to be high on our list. So it could be in the near future that we'd be at least trying to foil some of his plans.
I greatly wish that I hadn't gotten rid of all my wine at this point in time. I could really go for a drink.
Your resolve without such advice is admirable, Majesty.
Don't confuse my resolve for resignation.
Do you know how to detect invisibility?
Not that I know of. I've
Perhaps
never
Kaz-
tried.
Perhaps Kaz can help with that. Didn't he invent those helmets of true seeing?
Yeah, he's
If
gonna be busy.
He is. Thankfully, you have a fleet of Dwarn to help you at the smithy.
The Jones Forge will be very useful.
will there be any of these Dwarn that we can't trust, aside from the suits? If they walk in without one, we'll be able to tell somehow that they are not part of these breakers.
Unfortunately, no.
Do you have a way to detect lies?
Does this Kaz have a way?
He's good, but he's not that good. Anyone else particularly gifted in magic you might want to find and recruit?
He kind of looks over at Danny. And then looks back at you guys. Says, I don't know of anyone else. Aside from us two and James.
A dire situation overall, but not hopeless. There's a lot of work to be done.
Are there still
There
boats coming in?
Not since any that have attempted since the attack. We've had to turn away for sheer safety of their own. We don't know what the Kraken would do to another ship. And we have no harbor for them to even come to, should they get close enough.
Speaking of, the Nightingale crew are attempting to rebuild their ship to return to protecting the city.
Yes.
We have their first batch of lumber on our ship. Where do you want it?
Could we... Do you think that they would be understanding in us using it for extra defenses for the city?
I would be. I
I
cannot
think
speak
if
for them.
I think if they came here and the city was controlled by a hostile dwarf, they would be even more upset.
I think so. Why don't we have it unloaded outside the gate? And we will start on fortifications. With the dome in place, if we can simply make the entrances impregnable, I believe that we could hold out for some period of time.
Very well.
If nothing else. And you see he just starts doing math in his head.
Wait, don't all of the gates close?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't, to my knowledge, I don't know if you guys have ever like tried to force them open or anything though.
Oh, yeah, true. I just assumed since everything else in the city was basically indestructible.
Mhm.
Okay, council stands.
Well,
I will organize the delivery of the wood.
when should I expect to see you again?
We don't know. The compass is pointing us in all directions.
All right. Well, he holds out his hand to both of you to shake.
Yeah.
Just says, if this is the last and you find my body broken when you return, I'm sorry for the things that I've said.
All is forgiven. There was no contempt to hold in the first place.
If you need to speak to Kaz, he'll be at the forge. If you have questions for him.
Oh, and he shall be made a member of my council immediately.
Very well.
As
Alright.
council is leaving, he says, for what it's worth, you are one of the most competent human I have ever encountered.
I will take that at face value.
You know, for a
Pretty-
silly monkey.
Pretty high compliment from this one.
Okay. You get to saving the world. I'll get to saving the city.
We will be back as soon as we can.
Right. He leads you to the door. And you leave. Council, you are going back to the ship?
Yes.
Okay.
He gives a two-fingered salute to Felix and heads back.
Evan begins to haunt council.
Ishmael,
Council says one of the most competent.
Ishmael, the entire time that
Should've-
this is all going on inside the city, you are with Sledge and the other sentient on the ship, just kind of doing donuts in the parking lot, just
The
making
occasional
sure that
invisible
you don't
speed
get
bump.
attacked.
I'm picturing
We're doing the
just on-
orange drift.
Yeah,
Deja
Yeah.
vu, I've just been in this place.
I'm picturing he's just on the step the entire time going.
Where are you coming from?
Stop haunting me!
no, actually, he notices if he goes to do that there is no sound.
What? Now I have to take notes again. Damn it.
Wait, really?
Sorry. Yeah, Really?
Machine spirits have left.
Yeah,
Well,
if
you already said it, but I was not going to do that action. But now that you have revealed that, I will take that as having been canon.
Okay. Yeah. Canonically, Ishmael tests out the step at least once and notices that there's no sound.
What the poop?
And then he goes back to his vigilant watch.
See, now when we
Uh,
get back to the ship and we learn that, council's be like, okay, everyone off. Okay, step on it. Okay, one person back on.
Get off.
Going scientific method. You know?
Yep. Okay.
Do we want to take a quick break? before we
Sure.
continue?
Yeah, we can
Oh,
take
yeah,
a
use a
bio break.
quick
Great.
break.
I have to visit the queen. I'll be right back.
Give her my regards.
Isn't it the king now?
Screw him.
Yeah,
He's awful.
you going to the tomb?
Oh no. All
I
right.
don't like this.
Be back in a couple minutes.
Bye.
Bye.
This is not the stove I know. I would trade. Oh, I forgot my water. Damn it. I would trade it all away. Do, 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 do.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
I bought an ocarina.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Great.
Oh.
Ceramic. I can play half notes on it. Super cool. I play it when I'm waiting for loading screens and things.
Yeah. Nice. That's fun. Oh.
It's probably very loud. I haven't played it over the mic. And I probably won't. Actually, I'm
Oh,
curious.
hi. No, not loud at all.
Oh, cool. All right.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, it's deeper than I thought. I want one that's an octave lower, but it's huge because the size of it determines its tone.
Mm-hmm.
Been playing Zelda songs, and
Heck yeah. That's what every ocarina should be used for.
I mean, absolutely.
Keep going.
Fine, I will.
I mean, Barnabas and Adam aren't back yet.
Nice.
Did
Big
that
bang.
summon the Kraken?
Roll for initiative.
I also have my tin whistle, which is fun. I just have lots of instruments around my desk.
You're just slowly becoming a one-man band.
Council's a bard after all.
Fun.
Just sharing the random. I have 3 instruments around my desk, and I'm getting more. I just want random little fun things.
Ocarinas are really fun.
They are. It's nice to play the various tracks from Divinity. All sorts of great wind
Mhm.
instrument tracks. Whatever.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Ugh. Playing the
Gothic 3
Divinity
is
soundtrack.
amazing soundtrack as well. Oh. I actually think you get a kick out of that one, Spencer.
The what?
The Gothic 3 soundtrack. I know you never played it, but it's real good. It's in my top 5 for game soundtracks.
Let me.
I'll
Yeah.
send it to you for later listening.
Oh, I was just gonna look it up. All right. All right. Well, here we go. Gothic 3 full. Heck yeah. I'll listen to that while I'm raiding later.
Oh, heck yeah.
because
There's
I don't
one
need to listen to
dragon.
call outs. I'm too good for that.
I mean, once you've memorized the moves, I kind of did the same thing for extreme primals in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, once you know the fights, you don't need to listen.
And sometimes the call out's wrong, and you're the one person who gets it right.
It's true.
Yeah, that's always fun.
I am not, but sometimes other people do that. And I'm just waiting for Adam. Adam, we got things to do, man.
Yeah.
Coyotes. They are not messing about. We've seen them
really?
Yeah.
3 times. Yeah, since I mentioned it that one time, we've seen them 2 more times since.
It's good.
And we saw them
Yeah, that's a good sign.
further back, like in the field, the first night where we heard them howling when I mentioned it, and then I think last night we saw a pack of 5 of them literally walking across our fence line. We don't have a fence yet, but basically right on our property,
Oh, cool.
just moving just down the neighborhood. And then Becca that night, she was like searching on the Facebook page, and sure enough, people have like posted all kinds of their like security camera footage and the Ring doorbell footage. Like,
Mhm.
yep, here they are. It was just strolling the neighborhood at night, like on the streets.
That's so cool. When I trap my rabbits and release them, can I just go to your property and release them there?
Let me find a neighbor I don't like, and I'll tell you where to put the rabbit. So then they just bother them all the time.
Well, I'm just feeding the coyotes.
Tasty morsel.
Apparently, my park lost its coyotes. The last one I saw had a limp, so that was kind
no.
of sad.
Mm.
You could have moved to Hugo, Luca, and then I would have been the neighbor you didn't like.
Or you'd be roaming in my backyard like a coyote.
Do you want my rabbits?
We have
I can send
so many
you
rabbits
rabbits.
up here.
Honey, the vegans are out again.
Right. Yeah.
So we have
Worry,
to
the
stop
coyotes will
feeding
pick
them.
them off.
There's more of them than last time.
They're multiplying. Stop feeding them. What the-
I'm thinking of building an owl box in my backyard to
Oh, cool.
attract owls.
Mm.
We've got a couple owls that live in the trees right back in the wetlands. And man, are they loud at night sometimes.
Yeah, it'll be away from my house, but on the other side of the yard.
They're
We hear them
so loud.
occasionally.
We haven't seen them yet, but our construction manager, when we were doing the final walkthrough, was like, "Oh yeah, there's like a bald eagle nest nearby in your backyard somewhere. I see bald eagles all the time back here," and I'm like,
We see them in our swamp back out here.
Heck
Let's just see them driving to Anytime Fitness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
SCB all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they hunt the same time that rabbits are out, though.
probably
also sound
rabbit's
very-
choice.
You know what they say about eagle eggs? Great boner pills.
God
We're streaming, Barnabas. We're streaming.
Sorry.
I'm gonna get demonetized now.
Increased blood flow pills.
There we go. There we go.
On that note,
Speaking of increased blood flow, I'm ready to play D&D.
you council leave the magister's office
Nope.
with
He-
Felix.
He trundles back to the ship.
He trundles out towards the ship. Wander and Tizal, you probably be done with your flying about that time-ish. You might see council leaving the dome to go find the ship, which he just finds doing donuts out in the parking lot with Ishmael and Sledge. But Felix, you are going to find Kaz?
Yep.
Okay. You head into town, into the towards the temple in the middle of town. And it hasn't changed since you were last there. There are still people who are kind of lined the streets all the way from the Magisters to the temple, and then the temple is just absolutely surrounded. It is not as much of a commotion now It immediately, just like walking into that square, you can feel there's not as much of like hustle and bustle in the air. People have kind of worked out some kind of a schedule, some sense of order to all of this. Howie. Working your way into the temple, you don't the like throng that was there kind of clogging up the entryway of people trying to get in and out is no longer there. There are still people that are like huddled around the doorway. You don't see Jurgen near the doorway where you had left him. But when you get inside, you look inside Kaz's room, and he is in there, and you see that Jurgen is actually laying on a cot of his own next to Kaz. While Kaz has his back to you, and he's doing stuff at his table.
See, you've managed to keep Jurgen together.
Oh, well, yeah, not of his own volition. He's tried to die quite a few times on me.
Well, I'm glad you've kept him alive. He's going to be useful in the future.
He might be. Well, time will tell.
You
You ought to
had-
get your shit back?
It's back. It's outside.
Oh,
Outside of the city.
right.
I do have some bad news.
What's that?
I
You
was
leaving?
We'll get to that part. I was
All right.
visited by a few agents of Aetherwolf, and they claim he's going to be attacking the city.
I'm sorry, what?
You heard me.
Why?
I don't know why, but
There ain't nothing here for him.
that's what I thought at first too. If he has gained control of Touchstone, he has all the knowledge that the Dwarven have in his possession. And as we've learned about this city's something special. And maybe he's figured that out as well. So that's my
Yeah.
only guess.
He may have found something. You'd have to find it out real quick, though. They've only had possession of the city for a week or two at this point.
He also might have some a good voice over his shoulder, pointing him in the right direction. That being the Cult of Noon,
Right.
people to the north.
Yeah, the folks that would supply the red alchemite.
If they're working together closely, I presume the cult also has a specific interest in this city and also probably pointed him, or he just gave them access to the records.
That would be that'd be a problem. Shoot.
It's all
Well,
about problem.
yeah. Did you
Meanwhile,
oh,
we've been in contact with supposedly a dying god who needs our help.
anyone that I know of?
Do you know any gods?
Know of them.
The shoot, what's the non-god?
Naruya.
Naruya.
Naruya. We suspect it's Naruya. Unless I'm wrong.
You think somebody actually found a way to kill a god? That sounds absolutely ridiculous.
Isn't there a law stating that? Oh, which one is it? Pull out the
Go figure. Just because there's a law that says you can do it doesn't mean that you can do it.
but it has been thought of. And for all
Sure.
we know, it may have already happened. The gods have been silent, and we've had some visions that are a bit unsettling.
All right.
But that we can speculate on that later. It's important now.
You're
is that
assuming there will be later.
we need to make sure there's a later,
Now you're talking.
which is why I've come to you. You're probably the best bet this city has. And
I
I
like
think
the sound of that.
our work in the forge the other evening. We'll need to expedite that project of producing guns for the guards. Guns with
You
enough
mean in mass?
in mass.
All right.
Guns with enough kick to pierce that armor.
Sure. Why not?
And are you familiar with the? I mean, you're probably more familiar than I am with the latest developments of their suits, but I've managed to see a few up close.
Oh, I'm sure that they haven't figured out anything without me.
So
Once you left, that was one blow. Once I left, they only had rage and blind ambition left.
I did see your touch. I saw the clear alchemite in some. That was you.
That's me. Like I said, anything that's got a force to it can be altered in some way.
So we might need to go see if Joan is there. And if not, get to work anyway. But we need to get as many of these blacksmiths or apprentices that she has making guns.
All right.
And if you have any other ideas of how to thwart a siege on the town,
Let me sleep on it. I could probably come up with something.
you don't have much time to sleep, but do what you gotta do.
Sure.
Maybe we go to the forge first and ramp up
Yeah.
some of the workers there.
All right. We
But
can
I'll
see
need
who's still there.
I'll need to be going soon, but I want to make sure that this is set in motion.
That's right. You said you was going to be leaving. You're headed out to find this dying goddess.
That's the plan.
All right. Okay.
And the Magister might pay you a visit as well.
Is that so?
I may have spoken too highly of you. You might have more on your plate now. As a member of the council of the city.
Does that mean I get privacy now?
You'll have to take that up with him.
That I could do.
It's in his best interest that you have it, though.
Okay.
And I imagine we'll probably need Jurgen as well. Once he is well, he'd be a good apprentice to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once he's feeling better. If he's feeling better.
We'll get him there.
We will. All right, let's go see Joan.
Yep. So we head out over there.
Okay. You walk across the couple of blocks of like back alleys basically to Jones. Not a whole lot of people that you pass along the way. The only people that are really here are on those main thoroughfares. And you can see inside the buildings here. Most of them this far inland are still standing. Looks like they didn't take too much damage from the tsunami. You can see insides, obviously, like things are a mess. There's stuff all over the place, just crap all over. Not literal, some literal, but just stuff all over the place. But you get to Jones, and you find no one there.
Right. Well, if no one's here, I don't have the time to wait around.
You want them to build guns in mass.
For
Hand
the
cannon.
gods. Yes. Ones with able to take out
Enough-
the armor.
Enough kick to pierce breaker armor.
And
Okay.
you know that they're capable of stealth.
I know that I gave it to him.
And Felix takes a few moments to like explain how he does the see invisibility. Like I'm assuming there's like some device in his suit that does it kind of magically, but it's something he could probably teach Kaz.
As you're teaching Kaz, he just says, "You don't need to show that to me." And he kind of taps on his helmet, says, "This takes care of it for me."
All right. Were the suits able to communicate the way the guards were?
Yep.
Can you
They
come
had
up-
that.
Can you come up with a way to maybe jam that communication?
He stops. Yeah. Yeah, you might be able to. Would you want to intercept or jam? Or both?
Capabilities of both. I imagine if they attack the whole city, they don't have a big enough force to stay in communication directly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're not much for strategy. They just do a frontal assault.
Well, that's good to know. And if you
Think it
ever
will
find
help.
yourself face to face with one, I did have and he shows another sort of device used to, it's basically cast heat metal.
Okay.
You gotta cook them.
As we said, the reason we went with bone is not just because of the transference of
Interesting.
energy, but
You could overload the red alchemy in a way.
in a way,
Cook them from the inside.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Pop goes the Dwarn.
it's too bad we can't teach the guards all this, but the guns will have to do.
Yep. All right.
Um,
That's useful enough right there.
As soon as the first guns are made, make sure they get into Captain Verna's hands so he has time to train.
And who's Captain Vernon?
When you see
Did
the
I meet him
Magister,
already?
you may have. When you see the Magister, he'll know.
Okay. All right. Sorry. When we start getting these things working, how did they give you a timetable by chance? Do we know if if they're attacking tomorrow, I'm not going to be able to get
It could
anything
be
in my
tomorrow.
hands.
It could be a week, could be weeks.
All right.
It could all be a bluff. Who knows? They
Sure.
might not even have control of Touchstone.
All right. I will see what I can do. See who I can scrounge up. See if there's even any Dwarn left in the city besides you and me.
Try to get back as soon as we can. There's no guarantee.
All right.
Take care,
Uh,
guys.
On that note, and he kind of reaches down into the pouch on his hip. Says the sound stones that you were requesting, and he holds up two these clear alchemite things. He tosses you one, and he keeps one himself, and he whispers into it, and you can hear it through the stone. He says, "You can talk through these. Now give me that one back." And he holds them up next to each other, and it just starts making this like piercing, rigging sound, like basically like reverb. And then he pulls them apart. Says, "You can use these for whatever you want."
What's the range on these?
Most we ever tested them was a couple miles.
What?
That's bananas.
Saying I take one and you take one?
I mean, you get much further down the beach, I'm going to lose you. You said you're going out to sea?
Then I'll take both and find a use for them.
Well, you says you was going to use them against the big insects underground. Use some kind of sound to draw them near you, whatever.
That's one use of them. But
How I imagined it, at least.
these will certainly be useful. Thanks.
I'm sure you'll find a use.
All right.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thanks. If I don't see you, I'll see you.
And he heads out.
Like spits on the ground.
Felix didn't say thank you. It's bothering me so much. I'm just like, you dick.
Felix leaves. Heads back towards the gate. Everybody else, you get out, find Ishmael outside with the ship.
Yeah, unload the wood where the Magister wanted.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are stopping the ship, I imagine.
Yes.
Well,
Let's
you'll see
keep driving.
Just throwing the wood over.
so the sentient that isn't Sledge, you see it goes, and like while basically you stop the ship, have this conversation, they get the ship moving again. Sledge says, "I have an idea." They get the sledge moving again. The sentient undoes the chains that are holding down the logs, and then Sledge drops the ship into the sand. And you watch as this logs all just kind of like slide forward. They don't get completely off of the ship, but they are most of the way off of the ship at this point. Sledge just says, "It worked."
Council gives him a pat on the back.
And then he and this other sentient just go and start kind of moving the logs. They're not like carrying them anywhere. They're essentially like just getting them off of the front of the ship. So it's not like a neat pile or anything. You guys
Okay.
continue helping them with that.
Are they like half hanging over the front and half like kind of leaning onto the ship?
I would say they're probably like 3/4 off of the ship. Like 1/4 up on. They're like leaning on the ship.
Ishmael moves the ship back just like 10 or 15 feet, just so the logs just naturally gravity pulls them off the end of the ship.
Okay. So
He mentions to everybody to stand aside just for a moment.
Smart. Yeah, while the sentients are moving the logs away, you hop into the ship and like move it backwards, and you notice like the second that you're like 5 feet away from the sentient that isn't Sledge, it just drops into the sand. and is
no.
like has a log on top of it, and like it's just not moving at all.
Interesting.
But all the logs are off the ship.
Why?
Council picks up the sentient and puts it back on the ship.
Sledge helps you. He like grabs the other end of the log and puts the sentient on the ship. And as soon as it touches the ship, it just kind of like pops back up, like nothing happened.
To Sledge, Ishmael says, "Is that creature connected to the ship in some way?"
I believe we both are.
You are as well.
Yes.
Have you ventured far from the ship before?
Yes.
With you did not befall the similar ill effects of this one? As he gestures.
No. And he like taps on his chest, and you see the like aperture thing kind of pop open, and you can see inside of him he has a chunk of this like green stone. It's the green alchemite inside his chest. He says, "This powers me."
Ah, I see.
He taps his chest again and closes.
Would you mind coming over to the stairs with me for a moment?
Yes. No. I will go.
Ishmael walks
Walks
over
over.
there and steps on that first step a couple times and says, "Do you hear that?"
When you step on the stair, there's no sound. And Sledge just kind of looks at you.
Is everyone else currently
No.
on the ship?
No.
Our party? No one else is on the ship yet.
No one else is on the ship. At this point, no one else had gotten back on the ship.
Interesting.
Hmm.
I will ask you this question again when the crew returns to the ship. That something very odd is going on, and perhaps if you have a connection to the ship, maybe you can shed some light onto this mystery. I'll ask you again when the others are back.
I will listen. The others then, I'm assuming, come onto the ship. Everyone is standing around now. The logs are off the ship.
Yeah, Council's gonna start moving them.
And Tizzle and I are back at the same time.
Yeah. You guys
Okay.
had gotten back previously. You were there for all of this.
Okay.
You just weren't on the ship.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Council
get on
move-
the ship.
Oh, sorry.
Everyone gets on the ship. Move the logs off to the side already. What do you plan to do now?
Well, we've got all the logs in place. Were the matters to one of them inside the gate?
Oh, if you wanted to move them inside the gate, no, that would take some time.
Right. But didn't he say he wanted them inside?
He just wanted them there, like at the gate, so that they could use them
okay.
to build
Then
defenses.
he'll just make sure that they're piled up by the gate, and that's good enough.
Yeah, I'd say it takes you guys maybe a couple more hours to like get them over towards the gate.
Okay.
Because right now they're just kind of like haphazardly
Mm.
in the sand near the gate.
Is Felix back?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this time Felix would make his way back.
Are we to follow the compass into the ocean?
Once our rations are prepared, we have ample water thanks to Tizzle and Wanda. I believe so. Onward.
All right, let's head out to sea.
I hope y'all enjoy good berries.
As soon as we get off the shore and onto the sea, I want to call the group over to the steps again.
Matter of order. When I'm assuming Felix looks at the compass and you're following that,
Mm-hmm.
the compass points diagonally out to sea.
Okay.
Is the intention to go straight in the direction that the compass is pointing? Is it to go like north until the compass is pointing directly east and then go out? Or is it to go like directly east out of the city and then north to the... How do you want to?
To avoid the potential mile range of the Kraken, Council suggests we go north and then east.
Mm.
Yes,
Because we don't want
agrees.
to get slapperinoed as we head out.
And just to confirm, we're going towards the patron?
The one who told us to come
The
meet him in
voice?
the vision.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
the voice.
Yep.
Okay. So you then travel north along the coast, which you leave Orin in the probably early afternoon through all of your conversations and flying and getting rid of the logs and stuff like that. Takes you a couple hours. So early afternoon, say 1 or 2 o'clock. The trip to New Orin that previously had taken you better part of a day to walk to, you are able to make in just a couple hours. Are you going to be closer to the mountains? Are you going to be closer to the shore? Are you just going to plow straight into New Orin?
I have a question for the group. Oh, go ahead.
Wait, what? Sorry, you said we're heading north?
Yes.
Aren't we following the compass east? I'm maybe misunderstanding here. I'm probably confused.
We headed north to avoid the radius of the Kraken, and that's taking us to New Orin before we head east.
But okay.
The
I
compass
know
is
we were
pointing
avoiding the
northeast.
Kraken, but yeah, I guess I thought we were at a different spot.
If
so.
you didn't want to go that far north, you just wanted to go far enough north that you believe you are out of range of the Kraken and then head out to sea, you can do that as well. I'm
Yeah,
fine with that.
that was the idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I guess
you-
I just assumed we would head out to sea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
So then
as we see New Orin, though, Council says, knowing that James is behind some of the issues being caused by the breakers and potentially working to undo... Actually, never mind. My assumption was foolish. Council just shakes his head and changes his mind.
Council not once has gotten lost in speaking his entire campaign. 39 sessions in, he stops himself.
I would like to see if this is the real council.
It is not.
Ishmael
Well,
attempts
actually,
to behead him with his sword.
You know what? Like, as he turns around to leave, he changes his mind and comes back. Knowing that James is working with the breakers and potentially going to attack Orin, do we want to kill him before we leave? He stares blankly at the group.
You seem very certain in yourself over the murder of another.
If
It would
you
be.
have a way of just doing that, I would. Yeah.
He seemed frightened and feeble when we first met him.
Your stories make him seem powerful.
Knowledgeable is a certain power.
It's
but,
if we think at least going by the village wouldn't be too much of a detour.
I know Ishmael
If-
has a certain vested interest in James.
If we went there and saw the breakers there, we would at least have some knowledge of how much they're coordinating.
If we forever detour on the path to our destination, we shall never arrive.
Perhaps we could send out the small scouting party quickly, just to see perhaps what the Dwarven presence is in New Orin without actually getting close enough to instigate an entire visitor of our entire party.
Witnessing such information would mean we would have to turn back to Orin, which we cannot do. It would be beneficial to know, but of no use.
If we didn't divert our course and sent Tizal out there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Tizal and I could go fly over and just see. At least we'd have a little bit of information. I agree. We need to process towards the voice, so there's nothing we could do about it right now, but it could perhaps change some an urgency of a decision we make later on.
Is
have
it
to-
worth us being put in risk to not find out any more information? We know the breakers are to be working with James. If we see them, it confirms, but it does not tell us more.
I agree. I do not think it is worth the effort, especially in case you get shot down by some new fire alchemite creature.
Yes.
I would not want to be shot down while in the sky. Good point. Good point.
A valid idea, but perhaps Ishmael is correct. We should continue. I merely thought it practical to remove a threat on our way, but
I'm not opposed to removing the threat. I'm only opposed to scouting if it does not gain us any additional information.
To the sea.
to the sea.
So you make it roughly, a mile or two outside of Orin. Have this conversation continue. As the ship makes its way out onto the water, again, you notice that it does stay buoyant.
Before we, like when we're at the shore, I'm gonna suggest, can we stop for just a minute and have, I think Ishmael knows. Have you?
Sorry, that
Ti-
was Dispenser.
Oh, okay. Take a step in the water,
Oh.
because you
I-
had something happen when you went in the water last time.
I did.
We all did.
Um,
Oh, that's right. Maybe we should all take a step in.
everyone did?
Yeah, when we were fighting the Kraken and the Non,
Mhm.
it was up to our ankles.
I,
Oh.
It's our
perhaps,
understanding that
maybe not all at once, though.
yeah.
Yeah, Council thinks that's a good idea.
We all dive in, just TPK.
Fall face first to the beach and just drown. The vision's like a movie.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys get to the shore, stop the ship. Everyone steps out into the water.
No.
Oh,
so
not
we'll
all
let Ishmael go.
together.
Oh, just Ishmael's going in.
Maybe one at a time.
It's
or
just
something.
some
Yeah,
people
Ishmael
are
will
going.
jump off and go first.
Okay.
Oh,
So
I'll go first.
you hesitantly step a foot into the water and nothing happens. Wade out a little further. Nothing happens.
I'm in at least a good couple feet of water at this point, out a little
Mhm.
bit.
Yeah, you wade out until it's at least like up to your hips. Nothing.
Just momentarily, right before I turn around to head back, I want to just kind of just do like a casual, like half dive, just to surface or to go under the surface completely to see if there's any effect.
Okay. Please, somebody pull up a Baywatch GIF.
And when he gets up, he just does the hair flying, the water splays in a big arc.
Yeah, you do so. It's beautiful. But you
Council's
feel
icon.
nothing.
Yeah. His chest is glistening. He flexes his pec muscles a couple times.
Has Ishmael been shirtless this whole time?
Yes.
You think he has pants on.
Uh-oh.
Loincloth.
You make it back to shore. Nothing happens. And anyone watching, you didn't see anything happen to him either.
Nothing happened, he says as he boards.
Council hops off, stands ankle deep.
Okay. You walk into the water. Nothing.
All right, gets back to the ship.
Oh, I just
One
ate
by
one.
one.
Yep.
We'll just say, yep, you each go, you test the water, and nothing happens.
Onwards.
Oh, we know she's dead, so just head back.
We might as well loot her corpse.
Yeah, now we might as well get the experience for killing her.
You have a suit made out of bones. You could probably make something cool out of a dead priestess.
Still waiting to find something dead that I can harvest.
There you go.
That behemoth. thing.
Kraken beak.
Need those bones.
Mhm.
Ishmael's got good bones.
Thank you.
Everything
Aren't you, like
does.
500 feet tall or something?
500.
52. It's not exaggerating.
He's just riding the ship like a roller skate.
With 1 foot.
Balancing.
Well, see, actually, she's a skin bandit, and I'm more of a bone guy. So you put us together, and we're just a perfect match.
Maybe
I'm a bone bandit.
Bonesaw, he's ready.
All right, onwards.
Make your way back onto the ship. Get the sails set in the proper place. Take off into the water. Again, first couple feet out, the ship just continues to follow the land. And then once you're out deep enough, it kind of pops back up onto the surface.
Cool.
At which point it is riding the waves. Is there anyone standing near Sledge right now?
Yes, Ishmael.
Okay.
Council would be at the front.
Okay. Sledge, without taking his eyes off the horizon, would just ask Ishmael, "Are we going under?"
Under the surface.
Yes.
No, I get it as a player. This ship has those capabilities.
Yes.
The wonders of this ship. Let me consult with the others. I'll return in a moment.
Aye.
He walks over to the steps and calls the rest of the crew over.
You can do jam step. Yeah, Council
Okay.
goes over.
And before he says anything, he steps down one step.
Okay. Here's the step.
Before I explain the question at hand, when you were all off the ship before, I brought Sledge over to see if he knew anything of this sound. And this step made no sound. But now that you are back, it is making the sound once again.
We should have tested this on the beach. Now we cannot leave the ship.
Sledge, do you have a moment?
Sledge
Okay, let's
Join
turn around.
stops looking at the horizon and looks down at the crew gathered on the deck. steps away from the helm.
S-
The other sentient then steps in and grabs onto it for him. And Sledge comes down and stands near you.
Step on the step again.
Yep.
Do you hear that?
Yes.
These metal steps creak as though the wooden planks on a ship. Do
So
you have any idea why?
I am uncertain.
So it only creaks when you step on it and a specific person is nearby. Because when none of us were here, it did not creak. But when we stepped on it, it also did not creak.
And when only you were near, Council, it certainly creaked.
Well, all of us were on the ship at that time.
This is
It
true.
may be being on the ship, it could be distance.
Well, we'll need some of you to jump over to test this theory. Just
Tizzle
kidding. I don't
and-
really say that.
Tizzle and Wanda, do you mind flying for a moment?
We can fly and potentially lift some off the ship. But yes, Wanda.
All
And
right, just-
while we
You
test
still
this
have
theory,
spell slots for that, Wonder?
Yeah, I have one more wild shape left.
Oh, okay.
while we test this theory, it appears the ship is capable of going below the surface of the waves. Sledge asked me if we prefer to travel under the ocean.
Fascinating. How did you learn of this, Sledge?
I do not know.
It is with your connection to the ship?
Yes.
I will play it up to some mystical shenanigans.
I seem to understand the ship.
Going under will certainly prove useful, but I'm. Does Council have a concept of air? Like oxygen?
Yeah.
Because with a limited space, if we went under now for days, we might run out of oxygen, but I don't know if he knows about that concept.
Whoever made the ship capable of submerging underwater hopefully thought of the problem of keeping the inhabitants alive.
Well,
So it seems safe.
the inhabitants of the ship may have just been like Sledge, who do not breathe. We could submerge slightly and see if water begins to fill, and if it does, then we shall be concerned.
We have control of how far down we go. We should just stay under the just under the surface for some time.
I'm fine with that idea.
This
We
will be
have also
remarkable.
had Go ahead.
I was just saying, this will be remarkable. This will be astonishing.
I find a sense of excitement welling through me that is somewhat difficult to control.
Ishmael, you can breathe underwater, is that right?
I can,
What is it with you?
in the same way that Revan could. And what do you mean by you people?
You people, Mr. Big Bones.
He flexes his pecs, like snaps them, like Terry Crews.
They make power tool noises. Very well. Sledge, if you would like to take us under. If it starts to fill with water, though, please don't.
Were we having Wander and Tizzle
Oh.
fly first?
Correct, yes. Tizzle, since we'll do it one at a time, please fly up a good distance, and then Ishmael will test the step.
you go.
Step.
We're spending time on this, but it's so interesting. What did you guys do? Well, we had this step, right? We made sound.
Tizal
It's like ethereal connection.
flies off into the sky. Ishmael steps.
Step. Step, step.
Creaks without Tizal.
Felix is going to cast See Invisibility again.
Okay.
And See Invisibility can not only allow you to see invisible beings, but it also lets you see anything in the ethereal plane.
Okay. Yep.
Interesting.
Do I see anything with the step?
No. You see a normal metal step.
Can I remove the step and throw it overboard?
You won't
With
trouble us
significant
anymore.
force, yeah.
Watch that first step. It's a real doozy.
I assume Tizal comes back.
Eventually.
Oh, it's the last we ever see of him.
Tizal just flies out to sea.
Just
He's going
gone.
to kill James by himself. He agreed to
Sean
that.
flies over and eats him out of the air.
No word, no looking back.
Wanda, would you please fly out?
Surely, just give me a moment. Give.
Uh-oh.
Have we killed him?
What?
Oh, that was so much fun. That was so much fun.
What? What?
Council
It
looks
was
between
me.
his-
I was singing. I was playing a joke.
You've been the creek?
Yeah, you know. And then Wander makes this sound several times in a row by kind of waving. and
Oh
stuff.
my god.
No.
There's no way this is true.
No.
That was the real plot line of this whole session. Was Wander plays a joke.
I can't tell if you
Actually-
guys are being serious or not.
He's so serious.
Yep.
No. What?
Someone teach the tree about jokes.
Actions have consequences. Don't teach trees things.
Council, upon hearing that, Council looks to Wanda, and then the step, and then just walks back to the front of the ship.
This was a colossal waste of our time.
That was so funny.
Technically, we're still moving.
This ship continues.
We didn't waste any time.
Bob its way through the ocean.
Please tell me you did burn your last spell slot to wild shape, then to tell him you were joking.
And then
Did
the
you
crack
find
is
that
back.
before the session or during the session?
Played it last
Like-
session.
Yeah, yeah. I've been sitting on this one for a while.
Oh my god.
That being said, I do think that this is an appropriate point to stop this session. We'll pick up here next time.
This is a dumb game for dumb babies and dumb people.
Council deflates
Right.
his life jacket and jumps off the ship.
Can I do a super quick thing
Sure.
before we wrap up?
Yeah.
Kind of upon this happening, Ishmael walks towards the back of the boat and, maybe points, we're heading east, so maybe points north, just kind of out to sea,
Mhm.
not towards land or anything, and draws Revan's pistol and fires it.
Okay. He holds up pistol. Doesn't fire.
Is it just for out of character perspective, is it a flintlock?
The-
Pour
Yeah.
and stuff wadding. Okay.
But having been attuned, out of character, having been attuned to him, I was curious if it was going to do anything. So,
Mhm.
okay,
Nope.
that was it.
Nothing happens.
I've been wanting to try that all session once we got out to sea. So thank you for letting me quick do that. I've been thinking about that since we started tonight.
Sorry. Yeah, nope. Nothing happens.
We had more important things that we had to resolve from last.
Yeah, like
session.
the freaking step. Are you kidding?
It was so good.
We would have
Oh,
spent so much more time on that.
it was so amazing.
I'm kind of sad you didn't just keep quiet and
I was
make
gonna
that
say,
a
that
thing
would
the
have
whole
driven us
campaign.
nuts.
Wait, I
You'd
said
be like, all right, the siege on Orin can wait. The,
We
the
gotta
boys
priority.
can wait.
We
This
bring the
ship-
breakers over. Like, can you guys hear this?
The ship is haunted.
Kaz, Magister, get over here. Okay, you stand over there. Okay, it squeaks. You go.
Yeah, I was
Whatever.
tempted to take control a couple times, and be like, all right, when Tizal takes off, like it stops squeaking, like keep the joke going.
Oh my god.
Like maybe Wander's just like, I'm gonna make him think it was Tizal.
yeah, that's canon. Tizal saying that is canon.
That was fun. That was fun.
That is in one of my all-time top 10 D&D memories from now on.
That was fun.
Amazing.
Good times. I'm gonna go
Sam.
ahead and stop the stream.
Sad I'm not playing a character with a sense of humor.
I need to update my notes.